The lurking shadows. In the small town of Marrow Creek, where the sun rarely shined brightly and the mist rolled in thick from the nearby forest, the townsfolk lived in uneasy harmony with an unspoken fear. Rumors swirled like leaves in autumn about creatures that lurked in the shadows between trees, beings that were not entirely of this world. It was a tale often dismissed as a local fable until the Harper siblings, Tessa and Liam, decided to explore the woods themselves. On a dare from their friends, they ventured into the blurring boundary of the forest where tall, gnarled trees twisted like skeletal fingers reaching for the sky. Their handheld flashlights barely pierced the darkness as the sun set behind them, and a shiver of anticipation mixed with unease seemed to thrum the air. As siblings often did, they pressed on, Tessa's laughter ringing like crystal in the stillness, while Liam kept glancing back toward the path that led home. An hour into their journey, stranded in a feeling of foreboding, they stumbled upon an ancient tree, wide as a car and decidedly out of place. Its bark was a slithering shade of silver, and the air around it seemed to hum with a strange energy. Tessa's curiosity flared. She reached out, brushing her fingers against the smooth surface. In that instant, the world shifted. The atmosphere thickened, the forest deepened, shadows dancing just beyond the reach of their flashlights. "Did you feel that?" Tessa whispered, her voice scarcely a tremor above the rustle of the leaves. "Yeah, Liam started, but his voice caught as he looked deep into the woods where shapes began to emerge. Figures that seemed to flicker between solidity and shadow, with limbs stretched and faces obscured. "Let's go back," he insisted, gripping Tessa's arm. But she hesitated, enthralled by the spectacle unfolding before them. A blend of awe and fear. The figures approached, their eyes glimmering like starlight caught in the gloom, their features indistinct but undeniably there. The air filled with whispers, a symphony of voices floating through the silence, carrying snippets of lost hopes, fears, and memories. Tessa felt her pulse quicken. "What do you want?" she called out, her brave words battling against the urge to flee. A moment of stillness followed before one of the shadows detached from the group and glided toward her. It was a woman, her form shifting like smoke, a visage of both beauty and horror. She looked down at Tessa, eyes swirling with galaxies. "Soon night will fall," she murmured, the voice echoing in Tessa's mind as if it was spoken in 1,000 tongues. "We gather souls whose light has waned. The forest has chosen you." A cold dread knotted in Liam's gut as he gripped Tessa's arm tightly. "We need to go. Now." "No, Liam, wait," Tessa pleaded, but the shadows surged around them, engulfing them in a shroud of whispering despair. Liam glanced around, fear solidifying into resolve. He yanked Tessa away from the grasping light, pulling her with him as they stumbled backward away from the tree. Together, they managed to break free of the encroaching darkness, but the shadows pulsed around them, fingers of cold mist wrapping around their ankles like chains. With all their might, they turned and ran, heartbeats thundering against their ribs. The forest twisted and writhed around them, the path indistinct as though it was mocking their flight. Behind them, the whispers turned to cries, sorrowful yet furious. Desperation filled the air as they fought against the engulfing night. Finally, they broke through the tree line, gasping for breath. Sunlight was nowhere to be seen and a dense fog now surrounded the edge of the forest. They were back in Marrow Creek, but something felt wrong. The houses seemed to sag, shadows clinging like cobwebs. "What just happened?" Tessa gasped, bewildered. Liam turned, panting, desperate to explain it away, but the whispers followed them, audible only in the silence that enveloped their once familiar town now transformed into a strange realm. The echoes became murmurs of the people of Marrow Creek, lost souls drawn to the shadows. "Help us, help us." Days turned into weeks, and though they tried to return to normal life, the darkness lingered just beyond their vision, ever present. Tessa often found herself at the edge of the forest, entranced by the whispers that grew softer yet more insistent, urging her to return. Liam could see the change in her, the light in her eyes dulled by otherworldly allure, and he knew they weren't safe yet. One moonlit night, as he stepped into the garden, he found Tessa standing at the tree's edge. She faced the forest, eyes brimming with yearning and fear. "Don't go," he begged, voice trembling. But another shadow slipped out from the depths and entwined its grip around Tessa. "She has chosen," it sang, revealing a glimpse of her once vibrant essence now succumbed to the hunger of the otherworldly veil. Before he could grasp her, she turned, her face now lost between the world of shadows and the world of the living, and whispered, "I have to help them." With a last desperate scream, she succumbed, slipping into the waiting arms of the woods, leaving Liam in a world forever altered, one where darkness pulled at the edges of every light, tempting those who lingered too long to walk in the shadows, forever lost.